Good day, I'm David Paul. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest in the UK, and what a week we have ahead. We have got the FOMC meeting tomorrow, which the whole financial world is waiting on. Financial world pretty much priced in a quarter-point reduction in US interest rates. That'll be the first reduction since before the Great Crisis in 2007, so quite a week. The technical position of the stock markets of the world, however, very good, pushing on highs. And in the first chart, I show the position of the UK market. And the UK market sold off into the end of last year. And since January 2019, the position of the UK market, very good indeed, moving up very strongly. There was a little bit of whipsaw in May. And the last up signal, the green triangle on the chart, which measures our long-term trend, known at VectorVest as a confirmed call, has been positive since the 13th of June. The short-term trend of the market is up. The longer-term trend of the market is up, pushing on highs. There's a great deal of overhead resistance, exactly where we're at the minute. I'm hoping we can get through that relatively quickly in the days ahead. On the next chart, I have the position of the US market, and the US market again, you can see the green triangle which measures the confirmed up. Down below the price, I have the VectorVest proprietary buy-sell ratio. And although the price of the US market has been moving up, the breadth of the market as measured by our buy-sell ratio hasn't really come to the party. So we've got a market that's drifting upwards on limited participation. That's not a great sign. So I think markets and major market players standing aside until Wednesday is over. Last time I was on Core, I spoke about gold shares, and I'm still holding my gold shares. And on the next slide, I have the position. This is the GLD, which is an American tracker of bullion, and it still looking very strong. It pulled back and has had a great run over the last week or two. It wouldn't be at all surprised to see a little bit of a pullback in the days ahead, but I'm certainly holding the gold mining stocks that I spoke about. I think the top performer is the American gold mining stock Kirkland Lake. It's had a great run over the last few weeks. But in the next few slides, I have got some shares that I think should do well in the UK. And the first one is Mondi, the index stock Mondi. Now, I think you can see the candlestick plot over many years. And above the candles, the thick green line is the VectorVest valuation. So immediately we can see the share is undervalued. And in the window below the price, I have forecasted earnings per share, which are moving up nice and smoothly and strongly. The share price has pulled back to an old high, and those horizontal support and resistance lines are automatically drawn in by the VectorVest program. What isn't drawn in is a long-term trend line, and the market has pulled back to a long-term trend line pretty much spot on and has broken up on a buy recommendation. So I think that Mondi is certainly not going to shoot the lights out, but it is poised to move ahead, assuming the general market can keep going. So that's an index stock that I think can be accumulated around those levels. On the next slide, we've got a share that's been very good to myself, very good to pretty much every VectorVest member over the last 5 or 6 years, and that's JD Sports. It pulled back in October, November, December with the general market, and when the general market turned at just after Christmas, it moved up very strongly indeed from, what, £4 to over £6, which is a really wonderful return from a FTSE 250 stock. It's gone sideways over the last week or two since May, and it would seem to have charted a little inverted head and shoulders reversal pattern that would seem to have broken upwards yesterday. It's on a buy recommendation, and my longer term target on that particular share based on a weekly view over about 10 years, is pushing towards £9. It's not going to get there that quickly, but nevertheless, still some great upside in JD Sports. It's undervalued, it's growing earnings strongly and safely, and the general market is rising. So I think that that looks as if it can move very strongly in the weeks and months ahead. In the next chart, we have a builder. The builders have a bit of a torrid time recently. This is Bellway. Again, the same notation. That's my standard notation. The candle plot, green line above the price is the VectorVest valuation, and the blue in the window below the price, forecast earnings per share. Bellway went sideways, and it went sideways in a pretty much textbook five-wave, what technicians would refer to as a flag. It's broken out of that, it pulled back and kissed, and it's now moving up the page on a buy recommendation. And I think that the fundamentals of Bellway look exceptionally good, undervalued, growing earnings strongly, reasonably safely, and the technical position looks good. So I have a position personally in Bellway. Now we're moving towards smaller stocks as we move along through the presentation. This is the equals group. It used to be called FairFX, and it came onto my radar. Every weekend I do a earnings per share growth search on VectorVest, and a few months ago earnings per share ramped up, and the search picked this little share. I'd never heard of it before. As you can see, as earnings pushed up, our valuation pushed up, and the share undervalued. The share price grew for a long time, then it pulled back as the general market pulled back. It seems to have charted again, inverse head and shoulders reversal, maybe a rounding pattern. It's moving up the page towards the valuation, and I think that there is probably a 30 to 40% move in that share coming soon. And the last one is a very small market cap. Again, it came to my notice doing that earnings per share growth uni-search that I complete most weekends. It's got a market cap of £100+ million, so very small. It's in a niche sector of property used and benefiting from internet shopping. As you can see, earnings per share growing strongly. The share price is undervalued, and I think the share can move up very strongly, but just need to be very careful. The relative safety of the shed.L is low on VectorVest, and that means it's a share that should only be considered for the more adventurous investors. There's been a history of surprises. So 5 shares from index shares to FTSE 250 shares, right down to minnows that I think should benefit, assuming the general market can keep this upward trajectory. I hope that helps. Thank you very much.